Chapter 8. Understanding our criminal justice system. Whenever you come across a person who is violating a law, the first thing that might come to your mind will be to inform the police. You might have observed either in movies or in real life, police officials arrest the accused and file a complaint. As the police tends to arrest the accused, it is mostly assumed that the police decides if a person is guilty or not. However, this is not the case. Once a person gets arrested, the court is responsible for deciding if a person is accused or not. The Indian Constitution states that a person who has been accused for any crime should be granted a fair trial. Do you know what it means to get a fair trial? Have you heard of an FIR? Or, do you know who a public prosecutor is? In this chapter, we use a mythical case of theft to try and raise the procedure as well as the role of various individuals in the criminal justice system. Most cases go through a procedure that is same to the one discussed in our mythical case. Therefore, understanding these procedures as well as the role that various persons should play within the criminal justice system is important, so that if ever the event should arise, you are aware of the processes that should be followed. 18th July 2006. From the above case, you can see that the four main players in the criminal justice system are the police, the public prosecutor, the defense lawyer, and the judge. You have seen the roles each of them played in the above case. Now let us try and understand their roles more generally. What is the role of the police in investigating a crime? The important function of the police in a case is to investigate any complaint which is related to the commission of a crime. The investigation involves various processes such as collection of evidence of different kinds and recording the witnesses' statements. On the basis of his investigation, the policeman is needed to give his opinion. If the police finds that the evidence is pointing to an accused person's guilt, then they file a charge sheet against him in the court. However, it is not his job to decide if a person is guilty or not. This is decided by the judge. In one of the previous chapters, it has been explained that every person is equal before the law and subject to the law of the land. It also includes the police who has been investigating the case. Hence, the police always conducts investigation of a case according to law and has to give full respect to human rights of the accused. The country's Supreme Court has already laid down a few guidelines which the police needs to follow while arresting, interrogating or detaining someone. While the investigation is going on, a police officer can't shoot, beat or torture anyone. Even for petty offences, the police is not allowed to inflict any type of punishment on the accused. Article 22 of the Constitution and criminal law guarantee to every arrested person the following fundamental rights. The right to be informed at the time of arrest of the delinquency for which the person is being arrested. The right to be presented before a magistrate within 24 hours of arrest. The right not to be ill-treated or victimized during arrest or in custody. Confessions made in police custody cannot be used as evidence against the accused. A boy under 15 years of age and women cannot be called to the police station only for questioning. Apart from that, the Indian Supreme Court has also laid down certain procedures as well as specific requirements that the police and other agencies have to follow while arresting a person. They are known as D.K. Basu guidelines. Few of these are: the police officers who are supposed to carry out the interrogation or arrest are required to wear accurate, clear and visible identification as well as name tags apart from their designations. At the time of arrest, a memo of arrest has to be prepared. It should contain date of arrest along with the time. It has to be attested by a minimum of one witness of the accused who could be the accused's family member. The arrested person is also supposed to countersign the arrest memo. A person who has been detained, arrested or interrogated has the right to inform his relatives, well-wisher, or any friend. If a relative or friend resides outside the district, the police has to notify the time, the district, the place of arrest and custody venue to them within 8 to 12 hours after the accused has been arrested. 1. Now let us return to the story of Kirti and answer the following questions. A. When Kirti was arrested for theft, SI Rav also kept her brother Mohit in the police lockup for 3 days. Was it legal for the police to detain him? Does it violate the DK Basu guidelines? B. Did SI Rav do enough to question witnesses and compile evidence before arresting Kirti and filing a case against her? In keeping with the duties of the police as stated above, what else do you think SI Rav could have done as part of his investigation? 2. Now let us take a slightly different scenario. Kirti and her brother Mohit go to the police station to complain that Mr. Chawla's 20-year-old son had stolen 15,000 rupees that they had been saving up. Do you think that the officer in charge of the police station will promptly lodge an FIR? List a few factors that in your opinion may influence the decision of the police to register or not register an FIR. First Information Report, FIR. After the police registers an FIR for a particular crime, then they can begin the investigations regarding that crime. According to the law, a police station's officer in charge has to register the FIR if a person has to report an offense which is cognizable in nature. The person can give information to the police in writing or orally. The FIR contains details such as the time, date and place where the offense had taken place, details of basic facts regarding this offense that also includes a description of the events. It also contains the name and address of the person who has filed this complaint. The FIR is registered in a prescribed form and is signed by the person who has filed the complaint. It's the legal right of the complainant to get a free copy of FIR to be given by the police. What is the role of the public prosecutor? A criminal offense is always regarded as a public wrong. It means that particular offense is considered to be committed against the whole society apart from the affected person. You might still remember about the Sudha Goyal case from the previous chapter. The state had presented this case against the accused Lakshman and his family. Therefore, the case has been called State, Delhi Administration versus Lakshman Kumar and others. Similarly, the above case can be called State versus Kirti Mishra and not Mrs. Chawla versus Kirti Mishra. What did the judge say in Kirti's case after hearing the testimony of all the witnesses? The interests of a state are represented by a public prosecutor in a case. Once a team of police has conducted its investigation in a case and filed the charge sheet in the court, then begins the role of public prosecutor. The prosecutor doesn't play any role in the investigation. Her job is to conduct prosecution on the state's behalf. She or he acts as an officer in the court whose duty is to act in an impartial manner and present all facts and materials related to the case, facts, witnesses so that court is able to take a decision in that case. What is the role of the judge? It is the responsibility of the judge to conduct the trial in an impartial manner and in an open court. Judge is like the umpire of a game. He hears the statement of all the witnesses. The defense and prosecution present all the witnesses and evidence before him. In accordance with the law and on the basis of evidence presented before him, the judge pronounces the sentence. In case the accused gets convicted, it is the duty of the judge to pronounce the sentence. Depending on the nature of offense, the convict can be sent to jail or be imposed fine. In some cases it could be both jail and fine. What is a fair trial? Let us for a moment imagine what might have happened if the judge decided to try Kirti's case very differently. What if the court did not give a copy of the charge sheet and statements of witnesses to Kirti? What if he held the trial in a secret location where neither Kirti nor Mohit were present? What if he did not give Kirti's lawyer, Advocate Roy, enough time to question the witnesses of the prosecution such as Mrs. Chawla and instead had already decided that Kirti was guilty? If this had happened, then it would be a case of an unfair trial. This is because for a trial to be fair, several different procedures have to be observed. According to Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, under right to life, an individual's liberty or life can be taken away following a legal and reasonable procedure. The article ensures that a fair trial is upheld. Let us now return to Kirti's case as described in the storyboard and identify the essential elements of a fair trial. Firstly, Kirti was given a copy of the charge sheet and all other evidence that the prosecution presented against her. Kirti was charged with the offense of theft that was defined as a crime in the law. The trial was held in an open court, in public view. Her brother, Mohit, could attend the court hearings. The trial was held in the presence of the accused. Kirti was defended by a lawyer. Kirti's lawyer, Lawyer Roy, was given an opportunity to cross-examine all the prosecution witnesses. Lawyer Roy was given an opportunity to present witnesses in Kirti's defense. Although the police filed a case of theft against Kirti, the judge assumed her to be innocent. It was the responsibility of the prosecution to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Kirti was guilty. In this case, the prosecution failed to do so. It is significant that the judge decided the matter only on the basis of the evidence before the court. The judge did not jump to the conclusion that Kirti was the thief just because she was a poor maidservant. Instead, the judge remained impartial, and since the evidence showed that some young men and not Kirti was the thief, he set Kirti free. In Kirti's case, justice was finally done to her because she was given a fair trial. The Constitution and law both state that all the persons involved in the criminal justice system need to carry out their roles properly. It is their duty to ensure that every citizen, irrespective of their caste, religion, class, gender, or ideological background, should get a fair trial if they are an accused in any case. According to the rule of law, every citizen is equal before law. All of the processes, written in bold on previous page, are important to a fair trial. Write in your own words what you understand of the following processes based on the above description of Kirti's case. A. Open court. B. Basis of evidence. C. Cross-examination of prosecution witnesses. Discuss in class what might have happened in Kirti's case if the following procedures had not been observed. A. If she were not defended by a lawyer. B. If the court had not assumed her to be faultless.